Dan Cole, the Common Man, host of the program, in here. Probably it's 10:06. The show begins at noon. He's in here a good hour and 48 minutes early, recording Cool Christmas. It's that time of the year, Nordo. That cool Christmas schedule, brother.
No, I'm excited. I believe we're a week from Sunday.
A week from, oh, wow, so we get the thing done next week.
Next week, we'll coordinate a day, but it'll actually, I think it'll overlap with the Giants game. So people can be bouncing back and forth between a cool Christmas, cool 108, and hopefully hearing a W down out at MetLife.
Here comes Ben Leber, sideline analyst for the KFAN Minnesota Vikings Audio Network. Also, watch beloved Benjamin on Twin Cities Live, Channel 5, from 3 to 4:30 each and every weekday, and that includes today. And the segments with Ben are provided by Children's Cancer Research Fund. We have a leftover Vike Bite or two, Mr. Leber, that we would like Nordo to share with you, and here they are.
Yeah, I got a couple for you, Ben. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
The Cowboys give up 4.7 yards a carry, so a lot of focus into the game is, of course, what Dak's going to do with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. But we can run on them, and I'm just curious if there's a scenario where our Commanders' game plan is proverbially photocopied in some ways to commit and maybe run on them boys on Sunday night.
You know, I would say, why not try it? At this point, I think that we need to find... It's important for us as we go into next season, because that's kind of where we're casting our gaze.
Yeah.
What is our identity going to be? If it has to shift a little bit from this high explosive vertical passing game, then that's fine. And if it looks a little bit more like it did last week, hopefully a little bit more of an amplified version of last week, and we do have some more explosives in the passing game. But if it is a little bit more run centric and set everything up that way, then why not test it out? We got to test it out against all these defenses, against these different looks. What can the kid handle? How's our offensive line going to go against a really good defensive front? Not so good in the back end of their defense, but really good up front. How are we going to handle that? So yes, I would like to see the same blueprint from last week be repeated this week.
And then, I got a bunch, but let's do this, and then I'll let the host handle his business. How would you attack Dak? As impressive as this offense is, in his 13 games, he's thrown 10 picks. He's lost a fumble as well. We've been on the bad side of Dak handling us. We've been on the good side of stifling him and limiting him at times in this highlight offense. How would you attack Dak if you're Mr. Flores in this Vikings defense?
Somehow, some way, you have to be able to disrupt his receivers at the line of scrimmage. So much of their production is quicker passing game. I know that a lot of people see the yards and how potent this offense can be. They will take their shots. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they are going to try to get downfield with some of their plays, but by and large, I mean, they set everything up just by a lot of short, quick passing game. So if we can marry up some of that disruption at the line of scrimmage with their receivers and at the same time get the pressure that we always seem to get, then I think we're going to throw off the rhythm of Dak. We're going to throw off the rhythm of the whole offense. So to me, it is about being physical within that first 5 yards.
Vikes Bites provided by
Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef.
With the Vikings, but I got some college football stuff for you we'll get into momentarily. But all this pure progression social media stuff and talk from Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell regarding J.J. McCarthy. First, how familiar are you with it? And secondly, assuming you are, any idea what all this means?
Well, I'm not super familiar with it because I'm not
all over the place.
I know. I was never a quarterback, and I never looked at football from that lens. But what I can tell you though is being on the defensive side of things, when they are looking at the coverage aspect of things, going through the passing game through coverage and deciphering coverage, I would say so much of our time as a defensive player, it is all the fundamental stuff. It's the pre-snap stuff. It's alignment. It's assignment, all that stuff. It's also how can we best disguise our coverages? Because there really aren't that many coverages in the league. And you can have some combination coverages. You can get to man coverages in different ways. You can have different guys that are free, whether it's a hole player like a linebacker, or we'd call like a plugger, or a robber, which is more of a safety free guy. There are different ways to kind of skin the cat, but by and large, cover 2 is cover 2. I mean, there's not a lot of difference between one team running cover 2 and another team running cover 2. And the same thing can be said for cover 3. As an example, last week, they played a lot of cover 3. That's what Dan Quinn is kind of known for. And then from that same look, a single high look, you get in a lot of man free looks, a lot of man coverage because it all looks the same. But here's like a little nuance to how they would run a cover 3. Normally, one of the two safeties comes down in the box. Now, you are now that hook player in a cover 3. Well, they could do the same thing, present themselves as a normal cover 3, but then they would take that safety. Now, picture just a linebacker in that spot. And they, at the snap of the ball, would roll that guy over the top of the corner and take that third of the field. And now the corner plays that buzz flat area. And
flat.
And then that linebacker that was adjusted, he'll now take that new zone. So when you look at it pre-snap versus post-snap, it's a different way to get in a cover 3. And if I'm a quarterback, because I'm simple-minded, I would see all this stuff happening after the snap. I go, what are they doing?
And you'd be sacked.
And I would be sacked. Like, where are they going? And then you'd watch the film like, well, that's just cover 3, but the safety took the corner spot. Oh, wow. And you're like, oh, snap, I didn't realize that. Now, if you're going off of just pure coverage-based responsibilities, it takes time. And as JJ was talking about, you have to break all of that stuff down. And then you also have the rush that you have to feel. You may have to break out of the pocket. You may have to break off things. And then you have to throw in the fact that the receivers have to see the same thing, and they have to adjust their route based on the new look that's different than the pre-snap look.
Brilliant.
To me, it's like it would break my brain on every given snap. So I do think looking at looking at offenses in a pure progression sort of way, just going 1, 2, 3. I'll throw to the guy that's open, regardless of what the coverage is. I think is an easier way to look at it.
Brilliantly explained from a learned football mind, but reason 16.
Can you repeat the part of the stuff where you said all about the things?
I know. I wasn't trying to.
I don't read those screenshots because of all of that. It's just you got to read it
I wasn't trying to make it complicated.
It was good.
I was just trying to paint the picture like how, in a very simple way, how difficult it can be when
Understood.
But here's the best part.
Yeah.
You can take this approach of being progression based, which it sounds like they're doing, which is great. Eventually, after enough snaps and enough starts, you inherently just start to pick up on the coverage aspects of it. So then all of a sudden now when you're watching film, you see Dan Quinn, you're like, I'm very familiar with Dan Quinn and the way he runs his defense and all of his subjects that come from behind him that take over these other defenses. As the years kind of stack up, he will just, JJ and all these young quarterbacks, they just instinctively will pick up on the coverage stuff without explicitly having to think about it every snap.
FEHA, Fairness and Host Act.
I'm stupid, you're smart.
Ben Leber in studio at Nacho Leber via the X machine. So if I say Justin, or I have said many times, but if I say Justin Fields does not have a swivel, he lacks a swivel. He can't find his swivel. Does that mean he's void of progression or purity?
I honestly, it's tough to tell because I don't know what he's being taught.
Yeah.
Maybe
he doesn't have a swivel.
Well, maybe he hasn't had a coach like KOC that says, okay, we can think about this a different way. Like, let's simplify this offense in a different way. And as they keep saying, let's keep stacking these positives and keep stacking these wins. Maybe he hasn't had that mentorship in that coaching. It's hard to say whether some of these guys are, their loss doesn't have it, not ever going to get it. Again, go back to Baker Mayfield. A lot of people said doesn't have it, ain't ever going to get it. We're done with him.
Yeah.
And then he finds his people and he finds
his swivel.
He finds his swivel in Tampa Bay. I mean,
big time example right there, by the way.
Can you ask that question just one more time for a moment, PA, about Justin Fields?
Justin Fields, if I say he lacks a swivel because he's like a 1.5 read guy, does that mean he lacks progression or purity? Leber. How much merit do you think this question has? So, like, say the question for Kevin O'Connell at a press conference would be, why didn't we do this with McCarthy earlier in the season? The pure progression, it's just whatever has gone into the word simplification, that an Egan is preferred to be streamlining. Like, do you think that question has merit?
Sure, I think it has merit, but I don't think that you have to think that deeply about it as to like why they took the approach that they did. I mean, McCarthy's a super smart guy. He's probably been proving in a lot of practices and classroom settings that he can handle a lot of this stuff, and he probably can. You know, we heard the same thing about Christian Ponder, and I don't want to like. I'm only going to compare the two in this light that, you know, Ponder, they were amazed that he could break down a defense. He could watch on film as they're watching that same play I was talking about with Dan Quinn's defense and know exactly, like, you know what, when that guy comes down and that linebacker shades over, he's going to stay down and that's going to be cover 3. Great. We'll run it. We'll run the routes that, you know, that are going to beat the cover 3. When you get out in the game, you might not see some of that stuff, and things are happening faster. So it very easily could be like, look, we thought that he proved it in all of these settings through these practices and OTAs and training camps and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we're starting to understand that, you know, maybe the bullets are a little bit too fast and too hot for him during the games. Let's just readjust. I mean, he was a starting quarterback for 5 games before KOC said maybe we should pull the reins back a little bit. 5 games.
We went 2 and then miss 5 and then play 4, then miss 1.
Yeah. So all of a sudden now people are like, "Wow, you guys should have done this earlier." What, you can't? So you are we not supposed to give Dallas Turner an opportunity to run our defense? Like, run our defense before we have to adjust to what you're best at. You know, same thing with JJ McCarthy. You know, 5 games is a extremely small sample size for you to like shift gears. So I think it's a valid question. I don't think it has a lot of merit.
Teams now have film, team for Sunday night, but teams moving forward now have film on what works Sunday and the pure progression stuff and just the way Sunday was orchestrated offensively. So what's the next move for O'Connell, McCarthy, and the offense?
Well, I think it continues to build into, again, not trying to force everything to Justin Jefferson, but he does have to be a part of this offense. And so however we can slowly start sprinkling in some more plays designed for him, looking to him a little, you know, first and second progression, and hopefully it's not just behind the line of scrimmage. It is those deep overshots. It is those plays where we are getting him more wide open, thrown to him in stride and in motion so he can catch it and run. That's probably the next evolution. And again, does it have to happen this next game? No. I think we continue to do what they say they're doing. They stack the positive plays. They build momentum. And this defense is going to give you some stuff, right? They are going to give you opportunities. They've proved it all year long. There are ways that you can isolate their linebackers. Their linebackers are not very good. I don't think they're very good in run and in coverage. You can exploit some of the backside stuff that they do in their coverage stuff. They seem to get really undisciplined on the backside. So if you can, and if we get time against this front 4 and front 5, if you can get through that progression and get to the backside of some of these plays, I think there's some big plays over there. So it is still about being patient and just taking what the defense gives you, because this defense will give you a lot.
So all right, the Vikings lose the game in Dublin, but it was apparent against the Steelers, the mark, so to speak, was number 6, Patrick Queen. I mean, holy cow, O'Connell just went at him like 100 times, and it mostly was working. Kenneth Murray for the Dallas Cowboys, from what I'm understanding, and then now listening to you without mentioning names, I think Kenneth Murray's the new he's the new king to the Patrick Queen, and he may be the mark.
Well, he may be the mark, and the thing is, it's really more about that position because, they picked up that Logan
Wilson
Cincy. From Cincy because Murray was struggling so bad. They play the same position. They will alternate throughout the game back and forth. It doesn't matter. I mean, Logan's not fast in space.
Yeah, Wilson's downhill guy.
He's not like if you get him moving backwards, you got him beat.
Yep.
Even moving side to side, you got him beat. Murray doesn't really seem like he knows where to line up in this defense yet. Doesn't seem super comfortable. So he's also not a space player. I wouldn't trust him in space. So look, the Lions did a good job kind of take advantage of all those guys. That's why in Overshone, he's okay. Like, again, I think their inside linebackers are extremely vulnerable, just like their offensive tackles on the other side, with minus Guyton, are extremely vulnerable. So it is a big-time offense. They do have their vulnerabilities, and this defense is as porous as it looks on paper.
Now, Ben Leber played 2 seasons in San Diego with quarterback Phillip Rivers. Now, Phillip didn't start a game those years, and as we all know by now, at age 44, and having not played in 5 years, he's going to start games for the Indianapolis Colts this season, trying to desperately hold on to the AFC South crown. What do you think about all this?
I mean, from a pure comedy standpoint, I love it. I mean, he's just a walking, talking soundbite every time he gets in front of a microphone.
Well, now Kaepernick's just absolutely irate.
Yeah. When are we going to hear the report that he's still working out at some high school?
He's
somewhere?
working out. He's staying ready.
Working out.
If I'm Riley Leonard, I'm like, mother.
Yeah, I'm going to guess, obviously one guy is going to be welcome to the locker room. I think the other guy is not going to be welcome to the locker room. So, he's just the best. I mean, he's such a good guy. He's a great presence in the locker room. Guys are going to love him.
However,
if I understand this correctly, he took that offense that he ran before and implemented that into his high school offense that he was coaching. So
last time he played well, there hadn't been a pandemic. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I just don't know how physically he can do it.
Right.
Because even if you sit out for a year, look what happened to Frank Ragnow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was out for less than a year. Mm-hmm. And he tried to hustle his body back, and it sounds like he popped his hamstring. So 5 years away, he's not throwing the football as much as a normal quarterback would be throwing the football. I don't know. I mean, they do some funny things over there. They had Jeff Saturday as a head coach for a while. I mean, that kind of came out of nowhere with no real experience. Mm-hmm. That was sort of fun for 3 or 4 weeks. We'll see how this goes. I don't know.
If that first hit, though.
It's going to be brutal.
If they are behind in games, the Indianapolis Colts, and they have to throw, may God be with him. I mean, it's off the first hit, you got to move. I can't move. I mean, if they're behind and they have to throw, they're in massive trouble, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they really are. I'm guessing that every quarterback that they have on that roster has to be on high alert because he's not coming in there to be the savior, I don't think. I mean, he might give you some, a game or two maybe, but to your point, if they get down and they have to throw the ball, I just take them out.
This working, say it works, okay? And it tangibly works so that everybody can see it and feel it. And, hey, they won the division. They won a playoff game with 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, who hasn't played in half a decade. Every old quarterback this side of Sage Rosenfels is going to have their agents blowing up general managers' phones. It's going to be a disaster for 31 general managers in the NFL if this thing works.
I tell you what,
Think about it.
I think there's a lot of players just in general that probably have been off for a year or two. Their body feels a lot better. They've been mentally and emotionally refreshed, and they're probably tapping their agent on their shoulder and like, hey, I could go out and give a couple defensive end snaps.
Right.
I can do this. This team is down. They need a pass rusher. I'm in. I can do that. Mm-hmm. So sure, I think there's a lot of guys out there, whether it works or not. I think there are guys that probably would want to come back.
But they don't pick up the phone until somebody is permitted to do it.
Well, let's see
and
if
it kind of works.
Yeah, let's see if their agent still has their phone number, unless they've kind of turned the other cheek too.
Well, how old is Jeff George? With the purity of that arm, are you kidding me? Like Jeff George still can't throw the football. Come on.
So I did pose on my social media accounts, just for fun, for Vikings fans, what plus 40 player would you want to have come back for the remainder of the season?
Oh,
I mean, it
plus
was
40 meaning size wise or age?
Bust size.
Okay. Oh, geez. Well, does that mean they were a bust or they have a bust? Plus 40. What? Who's winning the?
Well, I think Moss was number 1.
Yeah.
John Randall was 2.
I put Kleinsasser.
Kleinsasser was up there.
Top 3 for me.
I even had
He's a beef eater by trade and a beef eater for life, and all of a sudden the day of the beef eater's back.
Yeah, we have a blocking tight end that all he does is catch touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I mean, why not bring? Let's look. We're going to see 13 personnel with the Cowboys this weekend.
Yes.
So why can't we go 13 personnel with Kleinsasser and Josh Oliver? Holy smokes.
All right, our final segment with beloved Ben, Nacho Leber via X. Thank you, Children's Cancer Research Fund. Don't forget to watch Ben on Twin Cities Live, Channel 5 today from 3 to 4:30. We're going to get into some non-Vikings related conversation. And also at the end of the segment, if you missed Nordo's parody, Free Ballin', we're going to play it back about 20 minutes from now.
Thanks to Gray's Food Hall by Travail in Minneapolis for hosting Vikings watch parties during road games this season. Guardsy's been there several times. I've been there several as well. Double duty, and we absolutely love it. And this Sunday night at Gray's Food Hall. Cool spot, by the way. You get several different food options combined with the drinks. Perfect spot to watch the Purple in action. And we'll do the Vikings watch party again. It's a 7 p.m. game on Sunday night at Gray's Food Hall. I will be there. Prizes, giveaways at the end of each quarter. We're going to have a blast. And hopefully, we're going to get to see JJ free ballin'. We can be singing that together or not. Probably that answer. But Gray's Food Hall, Sunday night watch party. Join us.
That's cool. Where's the place again, Nordo?
Gray's Food Hall. It's in Minneapolis. It's in the shadow of its backside of Target Field. It's an awesome spot.
College football, Ben Leber at Nacho Leber for a hot tick. First, why do you applaud Notre Dame, Iowa State, your alma mater, and Baylor for opting out of bowl games?
Because I think it's going to take something like this and other things as big as this to get the NCAA's attention, that things have to change, that people are not happy, that the whole system needs to be.
So you mean portal, NIL, bowl games, just evaluate all of it?
I mean, they want to act like there are certain rules and obligations to bowl games.
Yep.
When people abuse the NIL, they set a precedence for coaches to jump ship during the middle of seasons.
Yeah.
They act like you can't do this because this is the way it's always been. Are you out of your mind? We are so off the rails with college football.
Preach.
Like, don't even get me started on like, you have to do this because, we allow you to basically be here. I'm like, no, you don't. Notre Dame and Iowa State and Kansas State and Baylor and all these other teams that are opting out, we don't owe you anything. You put us in a horrible position because of your lack of leadership. Because for years and years and years, the things that were going on under the table, I mean, the quote unquote NIL has been going on for decades.
Right.
It's always been under the table. They've had compliance people. They've policed it a little bit. It remained under the table and dark because they had rules.
And they've looked the other way a lot.
Well, they kind
maybe
of
not the NCAA. Well, probably because but they will come down hard on organizations when they find out that they really were egregious about some of this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And now that the NIL is in the spotlight and now it's this common practice, they've had so many years to actually
legalize this, allow this, and put rules in place to make it fair.
Yeah.
They refuse to do that.
And now it's out of control.
Yeah. They've done the same thing with everything in college football. So I don't want to hear it that people are like, yeah, but it's about the fans. I don't think find me one Notre Dame fan that's going to turn their back on the team because they didn't play in some meaningless bowl game.
Nobody.
And don't sit there, don't talk, and preach that, we want to see our team play and this is what, no, you're not out there. You're basically telling these guys to do all this stuff to entertain you for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. I don't understand.
Will you help me with one thing? Is there a common thread here? Notre Dame, Iowa State, K-State, Baylor, whomever else, as to why they backed out of these bowl games?
Oh, for sure. Not a common thread, but there are reasons behind. So, I know from Kansas State's standpoint, Kleiman retires. Colin Klein comes in as the new head coach. Again, weird timing. It's during the college football season. Colin Klein is the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M. You think that they want to lose him right now? No, but he's going to go back to his alma mater and he's going to become the head coach because what an opportunity, and the NCAA allows it, so he's going to do it.
So is he coordinating A&M's game against the Canes?
He is. I think they're going to allow him to do that.
Wow. Well, that sounds like 5 players plucked from the
that's the thing.
Aggies offense heading to K-State.
Well, I think the thing is, I think Texas and A&M is probably looking at it as we don't think that there's a lot of players that are going to jump from Texas A&M to little Kansas State.
Yeah, right. That's what they said about the Hoosiers.
Well, exactly. But if Colin is really good about finding some youthful, younger kids that maybe don't have the opportunity and may not have the opportunity, he might pluck. The point is, great for them to allow him to do that. But that's a different situation where Colin wants time right now to put together his staff and hit the transfer portal and make sure that he brings in the right guys. He wants to implement his own team. He doesn't want to be distracted by bowl prep for a meaningless game against another 6-6 football team that nobody's going to care about, right? And all you're doing is benefiting the people that run the bowls. That's it. So he's thinking about Kansas State first and foremost, which you should. Iowa State's now they're in a different situation. Matt Campbell had already decided not to before he went to Penn State. But you look at Notre Dame's looks like, hey, we didn't make the college football playoff. We're taking our ball and we're going to go home. Screw all you guys. And I say, good. If that's what it takes to reevaluate how we choose these teams and who gets in and who doesn't, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
If they're gonna take the heat for it, what do they get? What are they going to lose? Virtually nothing. Right. Maybe $1 million of playing in a bowl game.
And some of their best players would probably opt out of the game anyway.
Exactly.
Being like, got the draft.
If I'm Jeremiah Love, I'm not playing in this game.
Right.
That's
a good preach right there, Nordo.
Well, I think that's the key is as the NFL calendar continues to expand and just engulf everything, the exhibition, that word in itself really dwindles down the meaning of what effectively in some ways is just a money grab, right? I mean, we can have 40 more bowls. We just need 40 more sponsors that are willing to put their name on a stadium, entertain a week, and schools are going to make some money. The one thing I wanted to hit on too, though, it's not just them opting out of bowls, but just one of the biggest problems I have, and we see it in the NFL too, like the Lane Kiffin thing down with Ole Miss to LSU and just the within the construct of a season. We talked about it when Stefanski left as a coordinator and people doing interviews with head coach. Why can't this happen after the season? Everyone's in a freaking rush, man. And the Lane they couldn't have just sat down for coffee at a handshake deal. They got the papers printed out. We know what the money's going to look like, and we can't just wait a month. But it's that rush, and it's the advance, and it creeps into the back end of the season, further mitigating and kind of watering down this time of the year for college football.
Yeah, I completely agree. We are one of millions and millions of people around the country that are screaming at the NCAA, do something. The schedule is out of control. It doesn't make any sense. It's not fair to the coaches. It's not fair to the players. It's not fair to the high school kids. It's not fair to the universities. But the NCAA yet does nothing. So again, whatever they can do to tear this thing down, and scream from the highest mountaintops that people aren't happy. I mean, I heard about the Kiffin thing. The reason why he was asking for that, was it $25 million a year in NIL, that's perpetual every year at LSU, is because he was staunchly against the NILs and just like how just loose it is and Wild West it is. And so he gets this new job, and really it's kind of a double middle finger to the NCAA and saying, like, if you guys are going to allow this, I'm just going to get super stupid egregious with this thing and see what LSU is going to allow me to do. And they're going to allow him to do $25 million every year to pay players. And it's like, he's kind of smiling out of both sides of his mouth, because he's like, I get to build my roster with $25 million every year, and I get to basically tell the NCAA, hey, you're allowing me to do this. All of these coaches and these organizations are going to be, they're already so pissed in the SEC that they have to now compete against this, and they're going to go scream to a brick wall because the NCAA won't listen to them.
All right, lastly, the Indiana Hoosiers name came up. Non-blue blood football team and market, Bloomington, Indiana. Is it possible for others, for other off-the-radar college football teams to do what they are doing, or do you absolutely have to have a Mark Cuban funding the fun?
I don't know what these guys are getting paid, but when 4 of the defensive starters, 4, maybe 5, are James Madison players, this is not about having all the money in the world. It's about being a smart recruiter. So 100%. Yeah. I think every AD around the country is saying, well, we can, as long as we have something similar to what Indiana has. Like, Indiana already had, decent facilities from the way I understand it. It's not like they're building this thing from nothing. If you have decent facilities, and you bring in the right coach and you trust that he knows how to recruit, then I don't know why you couldn't compete with an Ohio State that has nothing but 5 stars, backing up 5 stars. Because when it comes to recruiting kids, it's not always about the talent that you have right now. It's about what you can have, and then the coaching has to come and be involved in that. And that's the one thing that I'm super, super proud of playing at a place like Kansas State. Was we had no choice but to develop. We didn't have 4 and 5 star guys. We had 0 star and 1 star and 2 star guys. But yet, we're a game away from that national championship game in 1998 because we develop. Like, we actually put time into practice to develop fundamentals, and we find guys that actually want to be there, and not just guys that are looking for handouts and money.
My last thing, and this has just popped in, is the NFL wants to control everything. The NCAA continues to show ineptitude. Is there ever a possibility in your brain where, tradition, college football, how about that the NFL would find their way into, well, let's control more. Let's set up development leagues. Let's set up opportunities for kids, bypass the helmet school. And that's going to be a tough sell. I get it. But in the long term, the ability of NFL teams to actually create a platform for high school age children, and their next step instead of college would actually be development leagues to the NFL directly. It's not tomorrow.
I think it'd be fascinating to look at it from this angle, though. There are rumors out there, and I think there's not even one. I forget which team it is. It's very topical. They're looking at selling. They're selling. The conference is selling off to private equity. And
Utah.
Utah's the specific team, and I thought there was a conference that was, before the conference realignment stuff, they were thinking about looking at private equity. I think it'd be beneficial for the NFL to come in and invest in college football in some capacity like that. If, let's just say, the Big 12 or the ACC, not the SEC, because that's the ESPN has a strong hold on that. Fox has a strong hold on the Big 10. But if the NFL came in and bought the Big 12 and bought the ACC, and they reshaped it in the way that they saw fit, man, I think it'd be a major money generator for the NFL, the Shield itself, And I think because they actually have strong leadership, it would force this supposed NCAA to adhere to what they were doing in their best practices because they have a better idea what's better for the players than what the NCAA does.
So you played for the 1998 K-State Wildcats?
Yeah.
Number 3 in the BCS in December.
Whoa. And
then we got Edger and James for the Canes. As time was running out on UCLA, Kansas State held a 17-3 lead over number 10 Texas A&M in the second quarter of the Big 12 championship game. And the crowd roared at the announcement of Miami's victory. However, the Aggies chipped away at the Wildcats' lead and tied the score at 27 with 1 minute to play. Kansas State quarterback Michael Bishop completed a 55-yard Hail Mary with time running out, but the receiver was tackled just short of the goal line, and the game went into overtime. The teams traded field goals until A&M's Brandon Stewart threw a 32-yard touchdown pass to Sir Parker that gave the Aggies a 36-33 double overtime triumph over Nacho Lieber's Kansas State. Dreams of an unlikely championship seemingly came to an end. Well, then it got controversial. Number 4 Kansas State was left out of the BCS Bowls despite their high ranking, instead being sent to play unranked Purdue in the Alamo Bowl. And number 10 Tulane was undefeated, but their light schedule eliminated them from championship consideration. The Green Wave would match up against Brigham Young in the Liberty Bowl.
You see how long?
Holy cow! How long has this been going on?
You see how long ago NCAA has been royally effed this whole situation?
Forget the NCAA. The PTSD you have from football-related stuff from this. I thought it was just 09. Louisiana Superdome, the Favre game.
No.
Wow.
So this is how this went down. This is how corrupt college football is. So we had the last game on Saturday night. Okay. We go into double overtime against A&M. Mm-hmm. If we win that game, we're in the national championship game.
Jeez.
Okay. So we end up losing that game
against Miami,
I believe. Yeah,
or Tennessee, one of the two.
Yeah, they were the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
So
wow.
You had Grammatica on your team?
Yeah, Martine.
Wow.
And Michael Bishop, by the way, was a bomb college quarterback.
Yeah, Blinn Junior College. So here's what happened was, because of the way that the system worked back then, and it's still as corrupt as it is now, all of the other bowls had already agreed to the teams before we played that game.
That's unbelievable.
So we lose that game. We're not. They expected us to go in the national championship game. I don't know why, because we're playing the number 10 ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Like we're not playing some terrible team here.
Yeah.
So we get to bowl Sunday, selection Sunday. We have no place to go. So all of the big bowls that we qualified for, like we were the Notre Dame at the time.
You were 11-0 into that game.
11-0. And we got shuffled down to the Alamo Bowl.
Just beating nothing but ranked teams week after week. Colorado with Cordell Stewart. Jeez.
Oh, I think we smashed Texas.
You beat number 11 Nebraska 40-30. You beat 19 Missouri 31-25. Yeah, you killed Texas 48-7, third game of the season.
Yeah, that was dreadlocks and everything. I think he had
Ricky Williams.
I think he had like maybe 20 yards rushing.
This is the best.
So the point is, we get shuffled down to the Alamo Bowl. We're playing Drew Brees in Purdue, and we end up getting beat, right? Yeah. But the point is, nobody wanted to play that game. We had a players-only meeting that Monday.
You only lost by 3 at the wire.
Yeah, but it was a high-scoring game, and we had a players-only meeting, much like a lot of these young kids are doing right now. And we had a meeting about whether or not we were going to accept this bowl invitation to go down to San Antonio. And we as players said, no, we don't want to play in this. This is disrespectful. We don't want to play in this bowl game. And basically the way we understand it now is our AD basically came to the head coach and said, we're leaving, $3 million or whatever it is on the table if we don't accept this bowl bid.
Yeah.
And, we're still lowly K-State. I mean, that pays for our whole coaching staff, at the time. So we were forced to play a game that we didn't want to play. And because we knew at the time it was disrespectful.
Because of the money.
So because of the money. So it's the same situation. If Notre Dame has the money,
that's awesome,
to give a double middle finger to the NCAA, I say more power to you. You go ahead and do it. Because guess what? Their fans aren't going anywhere. Their TV deals for next year on CBS or NBC are going nowhere.
Right.
They can do whatever they want.
Man. Hey, you laid that out so beautifully. Covenant, for the second time in the show, Covenant claps. Brad Sham, the 47-year Vox for the Cowboys, started the radio show. He got Covenant claps. So does Ben Leber. All right, watch him on Channel 5 today, 3 to 4:30. Thank you, Children's Cancer Research Fund. See you this weekend, all right?
All right, man. See ya.
Ben Leber, back after this. Pure progression, this free-flowing foot movement, that with J.J. McCarthy. Man, 9 to noon's just looking for a little free balling.
It's a long year, talking about arm angles, the leg whips, and the fastballs too. He's a young kid, hope he turns out like Elway. I've lost count of those that he overthrew.
McCarthy to throw it over the middle, and it's intercepted by Isaiah McDuffie.
Neurological paths, the power of completions with pitch and catch. Does it have to be this hard? But he's a young kid. Gotta keep the patience. Even KOs like just go spin around the yard. Now he's free. Free ballin'.
Touchdown!
Yeah, he's free. He's free ballin'.
He's J.J. McCarthy.
Now he's free.
That's what Nordo wants. He wants some free balling.
Free ballin'.
Had somebody text asking why you don't want him to wear underwear.
Yeah, he's free. He's free ballin'.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Tom Petty. Thank you, Nordo. Thank you, Canterbury Park. CanterburyPark.com for news du Nord. Thank you, Texans Vox Mark Vandermeer, for your patience and your kindness and your gratitude for recognizing we're going to be a couple of minutes late here with Glorifying the Greats because we got news du Nord near the out.
Yeah, we do indeed. Sad for Gophers Hoops last night. They weren't able to replicate their performance against Indiana. They were just absolutely pasted by Purdue. 85-57 is the final.
You called that yesterday with that 20.5-point spread.
Well, it was just one of those things. I mean, slump buster for Purdue, who was just embarrassed in nearly historical fashion at home the previous game. Tomorrow night, looking forward to the Howl getting back in action. I'm going through Howl withdrawal with this weird cup game schedule. It's completely screwing my fantasy team. No one cares about that.
Neat.
But the Wolves are back at it at the Dubs tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Well, let's make it worse. Steph Curry's off their inactive list. He's practicing.
Oh, great.
Narrow casting. My fantasy team, Feng Shui, of course, faces Steph Curry this week. He's missed a month. Now I'll get him.
That's how it always works.
But for the Howl, they're very much going to get Steph tomorrow night free balling.
Now, so 13 and 12. Dubs have had their own worries with injuries and various things. Wolves largely healthy. Let's get that W tomorrow. And then final hour, final thing, PA. We're going to have Joe Smith of The Athletic on. He covers the Minnesota Wild because that's kind of the A topic tonight.
Yep.
Is 7 o'clock puck drop. Dallas Stars in town. And the Wild are playing host at Grand Casino Arena. So bounce back and forth or just stick to the puck. It's on your home for Wild Hockey, the fan. Thursday night football, of course, Falcons and Bucks. Who cares? Let's see if Kaprizov and all members of the Minnesota Wild can be wearing Christmas colors and getting 2 points tonight at Grand Casino Arena.
Joe Smith, the lead hockey mind with The Athletic, athletic.com, indeed does join about 20 minutes from now. And he tweeted about 15 minutes ago. Two things here. One, thank you, Coach Hines, for shooting straight with 9 to noon. As he shared yesterday, don't count on Zuki or Midzi tonight.
Yeah.
Indeed, with the line combinations at the morning skate. Joe tweets at Joe Smith NHL. The Wild go Kaprizov, Yurov, Tarasenko, Jojo, Eriksson, Boldy, Tranian, Hartman, and Ogren. Jones, Sturm, and Pitlick for the fourth line, so no Foligno still. Then Brodin and Faber, Damian Hunt and Jared Spurgeon, captain, and Zeev Boyum and Bogosian for the third pairing on D. Joe from The Athletic, 15-20 minutes from now. Our weekly football segment, we began when the team was 4-8. Now it's 5-8, but we're going to keep the segment going called Glorifying the Greats. Focused on the Pats last week. This week, we will chat about the Houston Texans, and we'll do so with their Vox around the corner on KFAN.